a girl a-running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 44 coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
Well, there's something in the government that's not. It's not good.
Just one thing.
But it's probably more than one. I'll bet.
A couple, two, three.
UAW, the new president, Sean Fain. I like this guy. I really like this guy. I hope he's not a crook like the rest of them. On Friday, harshly critical. Well, they went to jail.
That's how you introduce you. I hope
those guys are crooks.
Yeah, I know.
If I meet him, I'm going to shake his hand and say, "I hope you're not a crook."
Come on my show. I hope you're not a crook.
Yeah, I hope you're not a crook. My cat will know. My cat will know if you're a crook. The U.S. Energy Department planned to lend $9.2 billion to a joint venture of Ford Motor Company and South Korea's SK to build 3 U.S. battery plants. The government is... Fain called the loan a massive giveaway with no consideration for wages, working conditions, union rights, or retirement security that would help create low-paying jobs, adding, why is the Biden administration facilitating this corporate greed with taxpayer money? The $9.2 billion low-cost government loan for the Blue Oval, that's what they call Ford now. They got the Blue Oval, and the SK Venture, that's the battery company. I think those are the people that got caught stealing other people's intelligence. A joint venture is the biggest ever from the government auto lending program that will help finance construction of 3 plants in Kentucky and Tennessee. SK is a unit of South Korea's SK Innovation. Yeah, that's the company that was involved in the lawsuit, was stealing inside information and technology and just stuff, stealing everything. I got to tell you, I've been talking for a while, and every week I think I bring this up. There's a horrible shortage in all the trades.
Right, sure.
All the trades. They need tradespeople. The car people, we need car people terribly. And the new generation, while there'll still be a lot of regular hands-on work, a lot of it is computerized work. A lot of it is computer-generated diagnostics. And it's pretty cool on these cars, some of them. I've got some really strange stuff. Ronnie's telling me that wires are talking to each other. I said, okay, it's time for me to retire. With dealership service technicians in short supply, General Motors says it's seeing some improvement toward building a talent pipeline. This is cool what they're doing. Enrollment in GM's automotive service education program, which trains aspiring technicians through a partnership mostly with community colleges across the U.S., is at a 10-year high, said Eric Kennar, GM's manager of technician, environmental, and service technical training. Enrollment in the program this year tops 600 student technicians. That's a lot, Kennar said. Since 2012, enrollment has totaled between 365 and 450 a year. This year it's 600. There's more and more young people getting involved. And there's the trade school. I want to tell you, Chuck, that's the trade school that I went to.
Yeah.
1969, General Motors had its own training center.
Okay.
And they had their advanced automotive training educational series. And there was one right up here in 94 and Ogden Avenue, whatever that is, whatever town that is. But I used to get right off at Ogden Avenue, and it was right there. And I went through that 9 months of education, and I'll tell you what, that was my beginning. That was my start for this whole deal. And they really train you well. They train you very well. I thought it was great. I really did. And these kids, this is the way to go. General Motors will subsidize this. Because I paid a nothing for this when I went. I was sponsored by a local dealer, GM dealer, Oldsmobile, as a matter of fact, and I paid nothing. I had to get my own transportation. I had to do all my own stuff. I didn't get a paycheck those 9 months, but I did some side work and I did some other things, made enough money to buy gas.
You rolled back odometers back then.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, no.
No, statute of limitations, we're okay. That's fine.
Yeah, oh God, the statute of limitations better be up. You know how some airline pilots have like 100,000 safe miles? Mm-hmm. I was up in the millions of miles. Trust me. But thanks for the statute of limitations.
Yes.
SAE. This is all about Tesla. Elon Musk has scored another coup de grace. This guy is slick. He knows exactly what he's doing. I'm telling you. SAE is a company, and it's fast-tracking safety, performance, manufacturing, and reliability standards for Tesla's NACS connector as other automakers work to adapt to the EV maker's charging technology. So he's got all these other companies that want to use his charging technology. The SAE said on International on Tuesday, said it will develop manufacturing performance and reliability standards for Tesla's North American charging standard connector.
Okay.
Standardizing the NACS connector will provide certainty, expanded choice, reliability, and convenience to manufacturers and suppliers. Most of all, increase access to charging for consumers.
Right.
Elon has scored big.
Right.
They're here. Well, here's another story about the same thing. Washington State plans to mandate Tesla's charging plug official. Washington State plans to require electric vehicle charging companies to include Tesla's plug if they want to be a part of a state program to electrify highways using federal dollars, an official told Reuters on Thursday last week. It's an old comment. Washington follows Texas' move to mandate Tesla's technology because Texas has already done that. The North American Charging Standard, NACS, added momentum to Elon Musk's hope of making it the national charging technology. He's doing it. GM, Ford, and Rivian have said they would embrace, I wouldn't wait for Rivian, would embrace Tesla's national charging standards hookup, the U.S.'s dominant charging standard, in an effort to make combined charging systems, CCS, which is a company with roots in Asia. That's from Asia. They're going to make that the normal standard. We're going to be doing that. I mean, it's going to be Elon's show. It's going to be Elon Musk. You want to charge? You're going to charge. But you're going to have to you're going to have his plug. And you got to go to one of his chargers. Or they want to make all the other chargers have the same plug. But like we said, we don't even have 1 million chargers yet. And we got hundreds of thousands of cars on the road. I mean, for God's sakes. Here, this story made perfect sense to me when I pulled it out earlier. Millions of charging ports are needed to support electric vehicles by 2030. The U.S. will need 28 million. I said 100 million earlier. No. 28 million charging ports to support a scenario where 33 million electric vehicles are on the road by 2030, according to a federal study released this past week. The new analysis from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, a federally funded research and development center sponsored by the U.S. Energy Department, they're giving money, and managed by the Alliance for Sustainable Energy, sought to qualify the estimated number, type, and location of electric vehicle charges needed nationwide. They're doing a study on this to support a rapid adoption of light-duty electric vehicles by the end of the decade. Now, this is just to do the cars of the people that own them. There are about 2.4 million battery electric vehicles in operation in the U.S. and Puerto Rico, according to the Experian data, as of the first quarter in 2023. I want to know. On the island of Puerto Rico,
Right.
where are they going to get enough electricity to run, I don't care, make it 500,000
Windmills.
windmills
Windmills.
in the ocean?
Yep.
Because they're an island.
Right.
I mean, they got mountains. They could put a windmill up there,
Yeah.
but windmills aren't going to make it. That's not enough. Solar's not enough. Well, maybe for 300,000 it might be. But they're going to I don't know how they're charging them now. I just got the biggest kick out of that when they said they're going to need 28 million chargers by 2030 so that this administration that we have can have their all electric fleets.
Right.
That's a lot of electricity, Charles. That's a lot of electricity. Now I want to know, and I'm going to ask it one more time. Everybody knows I harp on this. Where are we going to get the juice? Where's it going to come from? That juice doesn't just come out of the air. It doesn't come out of the ground. Matter of fact, it goes across the ground on those big towers, I think.
Right, and they're going to need a whole lot more of those as well.
And things that hum while you get up. When you get underneath them, you can hear them hum.
Right.
Yeah, they probably turn you green or something. I got to tell you, where are we going to get enough electricity to plug all these cars in? 28 million chargers. If just half of them go into use at the same time, this country will catch fire. I got to tell you, that, of course, first and foremost, has anybody breathed the air lately?
Well,
What is it? You got to chew it.
Right.
This isn't right. I don't know what damage does it do to your car's engine. It can't be good for people either.
So this is something interesting I wanted to bring up because I've had a couple conversations about this. I think, George, the average person doesn't know what the recirculating button does in their car. You want to take a second and we can kind of explain?
I can do that.
Why don't we do that?
That recirculating button is very important. Every time you turn on your air or your heater, you draw outside air from the cowling area outside the windshield. You draw air into the heater or the air conditioner to get it to blow out. If you push the recycling button, that closes the outside air door, and all the air in your car is yours.
And most people have one.
Almost every car has.
And I would say, for most people, if they don't know what it looks kind of like the recycling logo, maybe. I don't know. It looks like a circle.
Looks like a little circle.
A little circle with an arrow, yeah.
Or it'll say REC, and there's several that say that. But you're better off push that button if you're driving around today.
So I have a friend of mine who's got a pretty fancy car, and it actually measures. I don't know. I guess it does air quality monitoring or something like that. And he had mentioned just hitting that button, his air quality improved by like basically the particulate matter got cut in half
by hitting
the button.
Yep.
And his air quality in his cabin got that much better. And again, that goes back to the idea of making sure you've got a clean cabin air filter and all that stuff.
And it's going to get even colder or hotter. Mm-hmm. You'll be turning the thermostat down because it's going to recirculate already cold air or already hot air. Either way. So it's going to get hot, trust me, or cold. It's just this air is pathetic. Cabin filters. I get the best stock of cabin filters. My bumper to bumper store. Every car I call for a cabin filter, they have. Every one.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's the oddest car we work on. They have a cabin filter.
So I would say probably, for those of you that sort of ignore that kind of thing when you go for your oil change, it might be worth doing this time.
If they don't check your filters when they do an oil change, your air filter for your engine so it can breathe, or the cabin filter so you can breathe, you need to get a different place because they got to check it. Well, what do you think about lithium, Chuck? You know how much I like it. I think all the listeners know how much I like it. Lithium producers are growing anxious that delays in mine permits, staffing shortages, and inflation may hinder their ability to supply enough of the battery metal to meet the world's aggressive electrification timelines. Would you call those timelines aggressive, Chuck?
I would say they're unrealistically aggressive.
Unrealistic is more
okay,
like it.
so finish your story and let's explain to people, like in layman's terms, what's happening here.
Yes. Once a niche metal used primarily in ceramics and pharmaceuticals, lithium is now one of the world's most in-demand metals, given aggressive EV electric vehicle plans from the global auto industry. You could end up in a crisis situation where the battery companies don't have the security of lithium feedstock. Stu Crow, chairman of Lake Resources, said on the sidelines of this week's Fast Markets Lithium and Battery Raw Materials Conference in Las Vegas. There were 45 lithium mines operating in the world last year, with 11 expected to open this year and 7 next year, according to the Fast Markets Group. That pace is far below what consultants say is needed to ensure adequate global supply.
So let's explain to people. So you've got, like for instance, the Biden administration put out $2.8 billion to miners developing new sources for lithium, nickel, and copper, etc. So the simple way to think of it is the government is essentially sort of backdoor supporting the entire process, whether it's the mining aspect of it.
Oh, they
whether
are.
It's
Absolutely, we are.
So this isn't happening sort of homogeneously. It's not like the old days where, everybody's riding a horse and then Ford comes out with the mass-produced vehicle and everybody goes, I need one. This is 100% behind the scenes funded by government. I mean, every aspect of this.
Everything is funded by the government. This is being pushed on us.
And mind you that I was reading articles earlier this week about the idea that they still haven't figured out how to tax EVs properly. So again, all of your gas taxes that would go away if you're EV, they haven't figured out how to replace that.
That's what fixes the roads. That's the infrastructure.
So there's that. And then now you've got a government that's aggressively pushing for EVs, and at the same time, the miners are saying, "That's great. You need to give us the permits to get the lithium, to get the materials to do this."
If they open up more mines, they're just going to destroy the planet for one thing. But second, they're not going to make enough for electric. This is It's unreal. It's not going to happen.
Unrealistic, yeah. I mean,
it can't happen.
But I'm saying is that the government wants you to build EV cars, and they say, okay, that's fine. We need to mine some materials. They go, well, we'll get around to giving you a permit for it. So again, it's that whole idea of, and that's the problem with government being involved in so many aspects. Well, that's what you get for letting the government get involved. So at the end of the day, the government's saying we're going to build all these EVs, we're going to do all this, and then we say, okay, that's fine. We need the materials to do it. We'll get around to it. We'll get around to giving you the permits.
They're going to let you tear up New York City in Times Square. You're going to let you dig because there's lithium under there. Come on. They destroy the planet looking for this lithium so they can make electric vehicles. All this is being pushed and funded by your government.
Right.
And this electric vehicle thing, they still getting them all the lithium they need, getting them all the manganese they need and the cobalt and whatever else they need.
But to your point,
that's not going to help if you got no place to plug these things in.